Well, hi folks, and welcome to the Old Classic Car channel. Today you find us in St Helens for the Northwest Museum of Road Transport. This is our first ever visit to this huge looking museum, so I think we're going to be set there for a fantastic day today. There are buses, probably coaches, a few commercial vehicles and cars too, so hopefully something to satisfy most viewers watching this particular video. So thanks for that, and let's go and see what's inside. Well, we are now inside the Transport Museum. Let's have a look, see what we can find over here. Ooh, a Royal Enfield complete with sidecar. That's particularly nice. Yes, I'm joined by the youthful assistant today. He's making a video for his car traction channel. My eye is drawn to this 1965 registered milk float. I like a bit of milk float action. I did co-own a milk float many years ago. That's what we like, a real variety of vehicles I believe here, complete with very appropriate load. And here the first of many double-decker buses of different eras, manufacturers and coach builders here in the museum. I think the thing to do is we will have a wander around and just get a bit of a general idea of the lie of the land. There are workshop areas which are out of bounds. This, I believe, over here is the paint shop. And there's a pretty epic looking restoration. We can just peer in through the door. Wow. Oh, looks pretty spectacular. And this incredible AEC, this well-travelled AEC, spent much of its life apparently in Australia. And clearly many body modifications have taken place on this one. Let's see what the story is with this. 1948 AEC Regent Mark III, Sydney Transport Authority of Australia. 1984, seen here minute after an accident. Oh dear. Which was to lead to her withdrawal from service in Sydney. Wow, so there's the details of this particular incredible vehicle. So clearly someone's modified this to suit their purposes, and it's travelled all over apparently. There we go. Oh. Yeah, quite cosy in there.
Have a little look inside.
Yeah, very nice too.
There'll be anything else quite like this here today.
Look.
What's this all about then?
Look at this Jenny, little generator sat on the front wing. Wow.
Briggs and Stratton generator.
Yeah.
This looks quite original. I like the shape of the top deck.
And the spare wheel.
Really unusual, yeah, with a huge spare wheel. Really unusual.
Oh, that must take some getting up there. What a fantastic vehicle. Still with the AEC Regent badging. Lovely. And New South Wales plates. I know quite a few viewers here on the Old Classic Car channel hail from Australia. So hi to all you guys following the channel. Here is a plate for you. Wow, what a thing.
That is pretty cool.
A bit more info there.
Let's see what else we can find.
Hole is off down there, so we will go in this direction. Portsmouth Corporation. Incredible. St Helens Corporation. Of course, that's just up the road from here. Yellowway. So what's this? An AEC Reliance coach from 1976. Bit of info there if you want to pause the video. Like I say, I'm the first to admit that I'm no expert on PSVs, public service vehicles, i.e. coaches and buses, so I'm sure many of you watching this video will know way more than I do. So I know the website for the Transport Museum here has loads of information on each of the vehicles that are on display here. It's a real mixture of museum-owned vehicles and also privately owned vehicles that are on loan to the collection. So I would urge anyone who really wants to find out more about some of the vehicles, including, for example, this wonderful old Leyland, to check out the website for the Northwest Museum of Road Transport, and you will be able to find plenty more about all the vehicles. Of course, Leyland. I was up in Leyland at the British Commercial Vehicle Museum just a few weeks ago. That video went live recently. I'll include a link to that at the end of this one. Yeah, fantastic. It really is. To preserve these huge vehicles, especially tall vehicles, is very difficult. Indeed, this in the building itself is actually very historic. This building can trace its roots back to 1881. It was originally used for horse-drawn trams, and in later years electric trams, trolley buses such as those that we see here. And look at this, a Foden, fantastic Foden, of course, from Sandbach in sunny Cheshire, which is not too far away from here. A Foden bus, there we go, ex-Warrington Corporation. This one was built in 1956, fitted with East Lancs bodywork. There we go. Withdrawn in 1972, the last of the Warrington Fodens. Isn't this beautiful? Occasionally we see a Foden coach at some of the rallies that we get to. We don't see too many of these. There's one of these that lives, I noticed it the other day actually, just driving back down the A49 from Leominster, where I recorded a video at the Brightwells Classic Car Auction. There's one of these parked up, visible from the road, again in preservation. Here, a glorious Leyland, ex-Preston Corporation, built in 1957, bodywork by Crossley of Stockport, to a design by Park Royal Vehicles of West London. Isn't that just wonderful? The time, effort and cost that goes into preserving these double-deckers is just off the scale. And look at this, the first commercial vehicle of the day, a little Morris FG with the so-called threepenny bit cab, very unusual shape of cab. I think we saw one or two of these down at the Gaydon, the big classic lorry gathering down at Gaydon earlier this year. Please do not enter this vehicle, so we won't do that. But yeah, really cool. Very distinctive, like I say, the shape of the cab, and also these extra windows here to give you a bit of extra visibility. These were designed for parking in very tight spaces, hence the funny shape of cab and the way the back door is here. It's not the regular shaped cab. You wouldn't want to be too hefty in the physical sense to clamber in and out of this, what is a fairly narrow door. You'd have to be fairly agile to hop in and out of there on your deliveries. But yeah, very nice too. Aluminium body as well, that makes it a bit more unusual. You've got the wooden boards in the back, but aluminium frame. I wonder who did that particular body. Yeah, very distinctive, very cool little old lorry. Let's have a look, see if there's a bit of info here. Yeah, Morris FG, built in 1963. Yeah, unusual appearance, threepenny bit cab. Yeah. This example was constructed as a mobile bank for the British Linen Bank of Edinburgh, and originally it's bodied right as a Luton style van. The flatbed body was fitted much later after it was saved for preservation. So originally it would have had a Luton body, which is basically a huge van body that extends over the top of the cab, a bit like a removals vehicle, that kind of thing. Those are Luton bodies. Yeah, all sorts of stuff in here. Like I said, I've never been to this museum before. I've not walked around it before, so literally I'm discovering as I go. Lots and lots of old historic images. We like old black and white photos here at OCC, as long-termers on the channel, and indeed the website itself will know all too well. Right, let's carry on down here. And the next beauty is this wonderful old Leyland. This is a Leyland Titan, a PD2. And what a stunning vehicle that is, and if we stand back we can see that it's an open topper as well, and it's in the livery of St Helens Transport Museum. Many of these vehicles go out and about throughout the season. Lancaster City Council, I think they were the original operators of this particular vehicle. A quick peer in there. I wonder how many people watching this video remember going to school or day trips out on vehicles like this. What a fantastic place. All volunteer run as well, so hats off. I doff my cap to all the volunteers that help keep this and all the museums that we visit open. One of the reasons for featuring so many museums on the channel is just to try and give some of the perhaps less well-known museums a bit of extra publicity. And these are places I'll be coming to anyway, so filming them is no great problem. This is an interesting thing. What's this? Somewhat later, a battery-designed electric bus made in 2002, the Pantheon U620, constructed by Italian company Technobus. Never ever seen one of those before. Again, wonderful old pictures here. Look at that, Liverpool docks. A consignment of wired glass to Amsterdam. There we go. Bit of info there. Yeah. Just fantastic. And what's this one over here? Pilkington vehicles carrying glass for the bombed London. Oh, on the East Lancs, November 1944. Of course, 1944 was the era of, well, the V1 and V2 rockets raining down on London. So, yeah, these vehicles would have helped in the reconstruction. Got an AEC Mammoth Major, another AEC there, and behind it, a little Fordson. That's a little Fordson 7V. Those were available either with diesel engines or the old flathead V8, which was sort of the predecessor to the engine that's in our Ford V8 Pilot. And look what do we have here? An electric tram. Cool. I love the shape of that, the colour and the shape. That really is something. Let's have a closer look at that. Something here, work in progress. Yeah. What a fantastic thing. Blackpool Corporation. I thought the colour scheme reminded me of the Blackpool trams. What a great setting, a perfect setting for a collection of vehicles like this. Wow, that is stunning. Ooh, car action. I'll have a look at those in a minute. But yeah. Isn't that great? The Progress twin car. Let's carry on down here. Again, St Helens Corporation. This is a trolley bus. Runs on rubber tyres but takes its power from overhead electric wires like a tram. So this is by British United Traction, operated later years in the St Helens area. Wow, this is on loan from the Trolleybus Museum down at Sandtoft. What a beauty that is. These would have arms that came up sort of on a spring bank basically, and went up, and they connected with the power lines over the roads. So these could only travel where the power lines were in existence, and they couldn't go any further than that. And that, of course, was the big benefit when diesel powered buses came along, coaches, buses, that kind of thing. They could go anywhere that the roads were big enough to accommodate them. They didn't rely on the overhead trolleybus network of cabling. So that was the big advantage, and that is probably one of the reasons that led to these being phased out. Let's just have a quick lean inside. I won't go in. Rare survivor. You see so many photographs of scrapyards full of old trolley buses when they went out of service back in the day. Look at that. That's unfortunate. Anyway, first of the cars of the day is this lovely Armstrong Siddeley. Now let's have a look around the front. Is this an Armstrong Siddeley Sapphire, or is it the Star Sapphire? This is the later Star Sapphire. Very similar to the Sapphire that came before, slightly different grille treatment. The original Sapphire had a taller grille that extended over the front of the bonnet. This is the revised, I guess it's slightly sleeker, Star Sapphire. This one dates to 1960. There we go, made in small numbers between 1952 and 1960. Restored in the workshop museum workshop Eden, by its owner. Yeah, there's lots of preservation work ongoing here. So many vehicles. I mean, keeping the vehicles running is one thing, but I know there are quite a lot of restoration projects running in the background as well. Yeah, it's great to see this old Armstrong Siddeley. Not a make you see all that often at the events that we get to, so it's always great to see survive. These are a real quality car of the day. Lovely detailing as well. There you go. Star Sapphire, Armstrong Siddeley, lovely fittings, this beautiful moulding. So this is a fairly standard number plate light arrangement and reverse light combined. You see these on quite a few cars, but here they're mounted onto a plinth that's unique to the Star Sapphire. So that's really nice to see. Great, it's on its original registration and the original Hills plate itself, so we like that. Yeah, what a fantastic car. I'm trying to think where I've seen those rear lights before. What are they off? Maybe a little Hillman Husky or something like that. I'm sure I've seen those before somewhere. Right, let's carry on our amble around the museum here. Thanks to the people I've been speaking to for letting us have a ramble around. Here we have an Austin. Now, which model of Austin is this? I'm guessing it's mid-30s because we've moved to the painted radiator surround, but we're still on spoked wheels. So it's an Austin 12. Does it say? Doesn't actually say the precise year of this one. Top speed of about 60. Narrow tyres. Yep, Austin Motor Company was once one of Britain's best known and most successful makers of cars. Indeed. Yeah. Again, in lovely condition. I'm guessing that's probably a 6-cylinder car. Not quite sure. But yeah, about 1935, 36, that kind of age. Lovely, loads of room in the back. And of course, when you have loads of room in the back in a car of this age, usually means not much in the way of boot space. This does actually have a small boot on the back, but many times in the old photographs you see the boot lid hinged down and the big case is stacked on top just to fit them in. Yeah, lovely car, very nice. Quite an unusual colour scheme, two-tone grey and black. So that's a treat to see that one. Alright, we are back to PSVs. Lovely single decker here. This is a Daimler, I'm guessing, going off the fluted radiator header tank. Again, in lovely condition. It's a Daimler chassis built in Coventry, Northern Counties bodywork, built in Wigan. This one built in 1951. There you go, we've got the half cab. Half cab so called because you can see the cutaway, so the driver's on his own in this bit here and the engine is alongside. Please take care on the stairs. So I think that means we can probably go in and have a look. Let's go and have a quick peek inside. So there's the driver's compartment, all on his own in there. Wow. I do love these old vehicles, the detailing The little signs. Look at this. Seating capacity 35, standing capacity 12. Children travelling at half fare do so providing they do not occupy a seat whilst adults are standing. I said, children, know your place. Right. Yeah, fantastic. Look at that. Even the door opening mechanisms are a work of art, beautifully made. Look at the little handle there. Some of the original upholstery back here. Interesting that it's side on back here. I would assume they would have all have been like this, but maybe not. But what a beauty. And I love this. I love how some of the original upholstery has been left just as it was. I bet if these stories, if these seats could talk, the stories they would have, good heavens, especially the back seat here where all the naughty children tend to congregate on a typical bus journey. Yeah, what a lovely machine from 1951. Yeah, that is lovely. I do love that driver's compartment. Wouldn't mind having a go driving that. Right, go down the steps and carry on, continue our mission to record everything here in this wonderful museum. And the good old Route Master, once a common sight down in London, of course, but now maybe just the odd heritage route, I'm not quite sure. This one, King's Cross. Yep, the mighty AEC. So these continued in service from 56 through to 2005. This one built in 1966 and ran for 39 years in daily service. And about 800 of them survive. Wow. Strong light aluminium bodywork on these. Yeah, the setting really adds to the overall atmosphere and the scenes we're getting in here. Something altogether later from the early 1980s. I don't know what this is. Chester City Transport, a Dennis Dominator built in 1981 with Northern Counties bodywork. There we go. This is the kind of bus I guess I kind of remember in service. You may enter this vehicle. There we go. So we'll go and enter the vehicle. So you've got like a sloping ramp to get in. Of course, one-man operation by this point in time. So the driver would do the driving and also dispense tickets, whereas in the olden days, of course, you would have a clippy who would walk around selling the tickets while the driver got on with the business of driving the vehicle. Shades of on the buses, in fact. But yeah, by this point in time, OMO, one-man operation, was the thing. I guess that was a lot cheaper than paying 2 members of staff to be on board. Again, I bet this old bus could tell a few stories, I bet. Seating capacity 72. Let's go upstairs. I'll get a good view from up here, I'm sure. Wow. Wonder where Harley is. Oh, there he is. I just saw him over there looking at some cars just over in the background. He's just disappeared behind that red van. Anyway, we'll get over there ourselves shortly. Yeah, interesting view from up here. Looks like we've got lots of fire related equipment over there. That's what we'll look at next. Right, let's carry on our merry way and negotiate these stairs. Alongside the Daimler we have this Leyland. Apparently the chassis for this one was actually built in 48, but the body was a couple of years newer, and this is low height coachwork designed for going under low bridges. Reminds me of the Bristol low decker. That was another design that was designed with low bridges in mind. because of course some routes required going under bridges that wouldn't be or couldn't accommodate your regular height double-decker. Okay, and here we do have this collection of fire related equipment, various helmets here. I like that one. Yeah, got a trailer there, some sort of auxiliary pump on the back. I wonder if that's wartime. Could be a bit earlier than the lorry that it's displayed with. So what do we have here? Another Morris. Yeah. Christmas isn't far away at the time of recording. Yeah, that's a bonny little machine, isn't it? A little Morris, probably late 50s, drop side body on it. Whenever you come to this sort of museum, it's always worth having a look in some of the quieter corners, because you never know whether you'll see something interesting. Some nice signs down there. I know someone who'd find a home for some of those on his shed. Wow, look at this over here, another Leyland. This is a Leyland Beaver, complete with ladder. Really, I always thought they were really handsome looking vehicles. These, the Leyland Beaver, the Leyland Octopus, that kind of thing. Look at this, the Krypton electrical test bench. So whereas now you'd plug your laptop in to car, bus, coach, whatever, in the old days you would use one of these magnificent machines. So you choose the voltage of the vehicle being tested, so 24, 12 or 6 volts. That's the one we'd use if we were checking the V8 Pilot back at home. And yeah, the Krypton. What a great thing that is. I wonder if it still works. The Krypton electrical test bench. This was donated to the museum in 2014. Bit of info there if you want to have a read. What a great thing that is. Right, let's continue our walk around. I think this is a Dennis. I'll just walk around here. Yes. I remember there used to be one of these parked, almost seemingly abandoned, on a bit of rough land in Congleton. I used to drive past it in the sort of beginning of the 1990s. I used to see it parked up looking a bit sad for itself, and it disappeared. And a couple of years later I found myself in a scrapyard over New Mills Way, and there was the front panel, this bit here, complete with this and also a Dennis badge. It didn't have the filler cap, it had the Dennis badge on there. And it was just in the undergrowth, so I ended up buying it from the scrapyard, and that's still in the garage to this day. And I often wonder if it came off the same vehicle. It's got a lovely cast aluminium Dennis badge on it, whereas this has the badge on the radiator bars itself. So maybe the one I saw was a couple of years earlier, but it had the same sort of flat front as this. But great to see this one looking a lot happier than the one I remember seeing. Right, here's the back of the Leyland Beaver. Coventry Climax engine in the back. Coventry Climax were well known for producing fire pump engines, and they would go on to build engines that got used in motor racing, and indeed the Hillman Imp engine can trace its roots back to the same source. And here we have, in the livery of the Auxiliary Fire Service, an old Bedford Green Goddess. So in the 70s, when firefighters often used to go on strike, the army would often come out and cover their service using vehicles such as this. There were probably thousands of them at one time. There's still quite a few in preservation, lots of them with very low mileage on them. Next to that we have a double-decker based, it would appear, on a Daimler chassis, judging again by the fluted header tank, which is very similar to that fitted to cars. So Southport Corporation, one of the very few surviving utility buses built during the Second World War. Well, that's interesting. Again, Just pause the video if you want to have a read up on that. So that's got wartime utility coachwork. So there wouldn't have been any styling fripperies on this, purely built using whatever was available. And all, yeah, I mean, often you see quite a lot of flair employed by the coach builders when building vehicles, but this one does look very utilitarian. All square edges, no flashy mouldings, no bright work, because of course with blackout and things you wouldn't want any bright work shining, reflecting light up into the sky of an evening. So yeah, so whereas this would be chrome, here it's painted over. Same with the lamps, no chrome on here. Built just to do a job and nothing else. It's amazing that survived at all, to be honest. What do we have here then? This is pre-war, 1935, Widnes Corporation, Leyland Lion. If you saw the video I did at the Commercial Vehicle Museum up at Leyland, they had that wonderful Leyland Lioness. That was definitely a stunning vehicle. And this is also incredible. I love the shape of above the windows. 1935, so Leyland Lion LT7, 4-cylinder diesel, 5.7 litre, 4-speed, crash gearbox, vacuum hydraulic brakes, Namassi 32-seat rear entrance, single deck bus body. Just see if I can poke the camera up in there. Yeah, quite the project, but thankfully it survives. There's the mighty power plant in there again, half cab design, so the driver sat alongside the engine. Here I'm guessing this is like an auto-vac arrangement. I can't quite see on the top up there. But it looks like an auto-vac fuel supply where vacuum from the engine draws the fuel up and then it runs down from here in to the carburetor. Wow. Quite often these buses, following the Second World War, quite often they'd be rebodied, so the original bodies will be lost. And sometimes when you see a vehicle that looks maybe like a late 40s or early 1950s, the chassis can actually be a lot earlier because it's been repurposed. So this is obviously a bit of a work in progress, lots of ash framing here. This reminds me of when Big Dodge was being restored and a fair bit of the ash framing had to be replaced in that. But at least it looks like it's all here, which is the important thing. And wow, what an incredible thing. Harley's not been over here yet, but I'm sure he will be having a close look at these bicycles, given his recent interest in buying old bicycles. Nice little Sturmey Archer shifter there. Is this pre-war, I'm guessing? Can't see a make. It's got an H on the lamp bracket, so maybe Hercules. Oh, there we go. Hercules, there we are. Lovely jubbly, complete with Lucas Bell. Ding dong. And what do we have over here? A James. That's a name I more often associate with lightweight motorbikes in the 1950s. But this is a lady's bicycle. And this, what's this? A Fuji bicycle? Don't know anything about that. That's certainly unusual. Right, let's carry on. Look. Wow, what a toy that is. Incredible styling on that. We like a bit of that. Lots of displays over here. Like I say, if you find yourself in the St Helens area, I would recommend popping in to this great museum, because whether your interest is buses, coaches, cars, or just commercial vehicles in general, or old things in general, you could do a lot worse than pop in here for a couple of hours. Quite often there are bus rides operating. I think there's one operating today as well, so if we can we'll try and catch a ride on that. Now, what do we have here? I think, is this a Bristol VR? I think it might be. It's in the livery of Crosville. And I'm pretty sure these used to operate in Cheadle when I was a nipper. I'm sure that's a Bristol. Let's have a look. Yeah, Bristol VR. Yeah. Crosville operated across North Wales and in Cheshire and Merseyside, part of the Tilling group of companies. Yeah. So that's what we're looking at here now. Yes, I do remember these. That's pretty cool. Quite a novel wiper arrangement as well. Yeah, great to see that Bristol VR here today. Okay, well, next row, and we have a Guy. This is a Guy Arab, circa 1962, again with Northern Counties Coachwork. Good to see a variety of makes in here. So like I say, Daimlers, Leylands, Bristol, and now the Guy. Wow. Lovely. The back end of various buses showing the different eras of styling. I think this two-tone job down here is a Leyland Atlantean, I think. Rear engine, very distinctive bodywork. I seem to remember these being operated around the Manchester area. I'm pretty sure that's what we're looking at. I think we'll go around the other side and have a look from the front. Where should we go? Let's nip through here past that lovely Guy Arab. Let's go around here. Lots more memorabilia, that kind of thing. Ooh, some goodies in the display cabinets here. But let's see what we can see around on this row. Ooh, there is the youthful assistant. I just caught a glimpse. What's this? Another Guy Arab, ex-Chester City Transport, and this one dates to 1969. Built in Wolverhampton, with Northern Counties body built in Wigan. Very distinctive grills on these guys, that's something I've learnt today. Lovely two-tone paint job. Let's carry on down here. Hello there, hello. We do, yes.
For the first time in about 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Yep, this is the Leyland Atlantean. This is the one that I was looking at the back of. I think this is a fairly early one. I certainly don't remember those lovely badges on the ones that I remember seeing, and I think the back end may have been slightly different as well. Yeah, rear-engined. The shape of things to come. Bodies were getting a lot simpler. Again, one-man operation by this point in time. Driver in there. No separate clippy, as was the case in the old days. Oof. And facing the Guy Arab, we have a Guy Big J up on this raised section. Yeah, representing Guy commercial vehicles. We have that beauty there. It's a tractor unit, so cab designed to take presumably an articulated trailer. Motorcycles too. Yeah, there we go. Built in Guy Motors, Wolverhampton, 1973. Almost half a century half a century old. Powered by a Gardner 240 diesel engine. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We've got a Honda there. What model is that? Not quite see. Now that's interesting, that old Leyland behind this lineup of lightweight motorcycles. Ooh, that BSA, Harley was talking about buying a BSA Bantam just yesterday, so I'm sure he's had a close look at that. But the vehicle in the background, that one in the livery of John Mason, I remember this one. This one used to go to all the steam rallies, your Malpas rally, Kelsall, that kind of thing. This used to be a regular on the show fields that we used to go to. haven't seen it for quite some time. How long it's been in here, I'm not quite sure, but yeah. Astor Park, there's another place where this used to be a regular site. Right, let's amble our way this way. Little Puch, a lightweight moped there. There's a 1973 Puch VZ50 Austrian Sport Touring Moped, 50cc air-cooled single-cylinder two-stroke engine, producing 3.2 brake horsepower. Ooh, that's a nice old sign. Prices Motor Oils, we like a bit of that. 2-gallon petrol cans over there. A little trike. A ride-on Mini. I remember Harley used to have, I think he's still got it actually, one of those little electric Mini Coopers. And gearbox. It's got Moog on the sides, that's usually a sign of BMC, Morris, that kind of thing. Not quite sure what it's off. A little scooter. Ooh, look at this Dunlop display board here. I know where that would look nice. And over here, being worked on, is a Ford Consul Mk2, no less. Again, on its original registration number. Hopefully that's still current with DVLA. Yeah, that looks really original. I do like that shade of green with the white roof. Very swish. We appear to have a chap taking it easy under there. The Rally Street Wolf, who remembers those? I'm not sure I do. I used to have a Rally Commando, a little tricycle, the Rally Winky. Wow, but ooh, look at this. J40, but not an Austin J40 pedal car, no. The twin steering wheels and lack of pedals tell us that this J40, which presumably was still made in South Wales, in this specially built factory, this is off a fairground ride. So the same basic body shell, still with a little engine and a little Champion spark plugs in it. But yeah, this came off a fairground ride. I wonder how many miles this did going round and round in a circle, with countless children sat behind those lovely steering wheels. Of course, this is related to the Pathfinder pedal car that Harley and I are fettling at this moment in time. And look at this over here, a 68 Lincoln. Wow, what a beast. A 2-door. What a machine. Huge, huge car. And I'm sure Harley's already clocked this interesting assortment of old bicycles over here. I'm sure he's been round here. So what's this? This is only 2001 actually, the Pashley. So that's not as old. Well, it says Pashley down here, but this is badged up as a Rally. Either way, some nice stuff here, and look at those old pictures there. Shell Motor Spirit. One of those plastic bikes at the back there. Is that the one? Is that the Vector or something like that from Sweden? Maybe. Maybe not. Oh, I can see cars down there. So if you're into your old cars, stick around, don't go anywhere just yet. Hello? You've seen the bicycles here, I guess. Yes, I wasn't sure what it was until I saw the little H on the.
Yeah, it has Hercules
on the mug on the back.
well.
Oh, does it? I saw it on the mud guard. You see the little badge on the mud guard.
I don't know. It's a nice thing though. I did like that.
AEC. What's that? AEC Regent.
London,
I think.
Transport.
Yeah. RT. AEC Regent 1952.
Look at this Audi over here.
Not yet.
Gorgeous car.
Yeah, I'm working my way over that way. So 1952, same year as your first CWS bicycle. Okay, so we promised you a few classic cars here today in St Helens, and we start off with this lovely E493A version of the Ford Prefect. The 4-door Ford Prefect with its 1172cc 10-horse engine, 10 horsepower, not brake horsepower. It's a different thing altogether. Yeah, looks to be in bonny condition. This is sort of the slightly bigger brother to the Pop 103E. Slightly more equipment, slightly plusher inside. Nice Bakelite dash, similar to that we had in our old Sittenbeg Ford Anglia. Yeah, it's a very smart Ford Prefect. Yeah, it's in great condition. And this is the Audi that Harley was talking about, an Audi 100. This is a very rare car now. Do you like this? It's very handsome, isn't it? Yeah, it's got a sort of, so what's that, H-reg, so beginning of the 1970s, about 1970.
It's just lovely, isn't
It's just sleek, isn't it? Yeah, sort of. Looks sort of quality. Yeah, it's sort of quite classy looking, isn't it? Understated, but looks sort of quality. Nice full width wheel trims behind the hubcaps. Super clean underneath as well. It's in lovely condition. Yeah, it is nice, isn't it? Yeah, it's unusual as well, isn't it? You don't see many of these.
It's lovely.
Audi 100 LS. These were offered from 1968 onwards. Wow. Yeah, it's a very rare sight. It's unusual being right-hand drive as well. I wonder how many of these they sold. Of course, Audi was nothing like as prolific as it is now. Everywhere you look, there are Audis and other products of the Volkswagen Audi group. But in those days, Audi was a very, very unusual choice here in the UK. And brand loyalty to the likes of Ford, Vauxhall, British Lane, BMC cars was still very prevalent. It was quite a left field choice. Right, mustn't miss these old petrol pumps, must we?
It's the belly and skeleton pump, isn't it?
Yeah, the old sort of belly, fat boy or whatever they used to call them.
Is Cleveland this time?
It's something to do with Cleveland, yeah. Look at this. Springfield, Massachusetts. Look at this. So this is a measure, like a depth gauge for the tank's underground tank at a garage. You don't see those very often, I must admit. Right. Let's carry on our way down here. We don't want to miss anything, because the museum is now open to the public. Like I say, it's well worth popping in. Got an Astra convertible here. Another one here. I'm guessing these may have been built at Ellesmere Port, which isn't a million miles away from here, if that is the case. Sad news the other day that Vauxhall Stellantis, Vauxhall's owner, are talking about closing the Luton plant for good. Of course, I think for the last few years it's only been building vans anyway, but it would be sad if vehicle manufacture went from there altogether. So these two look to be in really great condition. We've got a Daimler here. So what's this, a Conquest? It looks like a Conquest. Ford Escort here. The old hatchback Escort. Let's continue our way around here. Ooh, British Caledonian Airways. That was a regular into Manchester Airport Ringway when I went out but a lad. Right. Yeah, Ford Escort. Well, let's have a look at this old 50s Daimler. I'm pretty sure it's a Conquest. Yep. Daimler Conquest 1956. Yep. Anything interesting here we need to know? Yep. Pre-selected gearbox. So the selector for that will be on the side of the steering column. Yep, there it is, that silver lever just in there. So the pre-selected gearbox does what it says on the tin. If you were approaching a corner, you wanted to change down a gear perhaps, you would pick your next gear using that. And this is a system that featured on many PSVs on many buses, Daimler buses, that kind of thing. They also often had pre-selected gearboxes, so you would pick the next gear that you want, but it wouldn't engage yet, it wouldn't change gear until you press the little sort of button on the floor where a clutch pedal would normally be. It is actually sort of like a gear actuator button, I suppose you'd call it, and that would then change the car into the gear that you pre-selected on the lever there. So a slightly different approach to driving, but by all accounts quite a good system. Lots of pre-war Rileys also have this system. But Daimler persisted with pre-selected gearboxes for quite a long time, decades in fact. Of course, cars like the Daimler Majestic Major, I think they were so powerful that the power was too much for the pre-selected box, so they had a regular automatic. But your Conquests and your Conquest Centuries, that kind of thing, yeah, these all had pre-selectors. But yeah, nice to see one of those here. Looks to be in pretty sound condition as well. Let's have a quick just look over here. We don't want to miss anything out, do we? I love one of the best things about some of the old buses that you see preserved are the adverts. I love the detailing, how period correct advertisements are added. Drink Tizer, the appetizer. There's Cliff. Bit of summer holiday action. And there's Una Stubbs. She's around there as well, I think. Now we mustn't miss out the vehicles in the middle here. This is a London Transport. What's this then? So a quick read upon this. AC Regal. That's not that one, is it? No. Or is it? Yes, it could be. Everywhere you look, just wonderful, wonderful old buses and coaches. Oh, what's this? A mobile shop. Granville. Wow. Again, attention to detail and everything, all period correct packaging, brands. What is it? Let's have a look. First registered in Rotherham, South Yorkshire, converted to a mobile shop and worked in the St Helens area until 1964. Looks like another BMC. Is it the LD? I think. So it'll be an Austin or a Morris LD. Yeah, this is the Morris version. Austins were available as well, because of course brand loyalty was a real big deal back in those days, late 50s, early 1960s. But yeah, this is the LD. It's like a walk-through vehicle. Old fire extinguisher. I like that kind of detail. We've even got an Action Man Jeep in here. I probably had one of those when I was a kid. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Nice to see an LD. I don't see too many of these around now. Right. Let's amble down here. Just admiring, taking in the scenery here in the museum. Again, cabinets everywhere with little toys, old timetables, tickets, all sorts of things. Salford City Transport. I'm going to continue back in the direction. Continue back in the direction of the cars just for a moment, but well, this looks nice and early. Little steps to get in. But what is it? Let's see what it is. This beauty in green is a Thornycroft 20-seat bus built by Thornycroft of Basingstoke, first operated by the Worcester College for the Blind in 1929, later owned by Tiffin School, a Surrey Girls' School. Wow. That's wonderful. What a beautiful thing. What's that? Borneo. Borneo, here we come. That will take a little while, but what a great way to get there. Let me know in the comments if you have any memories of vehicles that we've seen in the video so far. I don't expect many of you remember these particular vehicles operating when they were current, but maybe lots of these AEC Regents, the Routemaster, the Guy Arabs, that kind of thing. I'm sure you'll remember some of those, the Leyland Atlanteans. Let's carry on back down here around the back of the Daimler Conquest, past the Vauxhalls. We have a Ford Capri. It's got the S down the sides. This is either a 2 litre or a 3 litre S. Does it tell us? No badging on the back. Some pretty funky looking wheels. Very nice too. But I can't stop looking at that lovely Thornycroft. But I must carry on. And in the livery of Rottenstall Corporation, we have another glorious half-cab Leyland. Aren't they stylish? Didn't they used to make coaches and buses? Just look wonderful. The liveries were sort of unique to the operators in different areas across the country, so you'd often be able to recognise who the operator was just by seeing the vehicle coming down the road, rumbling down the road at a leisurely pace. There's such a variety of vehicles. I never knew there'd be so much here, to be honest. I can't believe it's taken me so long to even get here. Yeah. Why have I not been here before? Right, here we have a Leyland National. This is one of the earlier ones. The later ones had slightly different front, if I remember correctly. I do remember these in operation, obviously. Ex-Halton Borough Transport, this particular example. So what year is that? It's on an L, so about 72, 73. Right, back to cars. Ford Capri there, yep. This is an Escort RS Turbo, the second series of the RS Turbo, with these big vents in the bonnet. A Ford Fiesta XR2, the Mark II XR2 alongside. That's about 1986 or 7. It's great that we've got a few cars here. The old bill are represented by this Ford Focus from 2004. Evening all. And here we have a Vauxhall Chevette, a 3-door hatchback version of the Chevette. Of course, you could get the little booted saloon as well. The Chevette L, that letter on the boot lid, that told you everything about the budget of the person who was driving this. L was a pretty basic example. No rear wiper or anything like that. No, not even a passenger door mirror was standard equipment on this particular car. And again, I wonder if this was built at Ellesmere Port. The slopey headlights, very, very 1970s, very similar to those of the Mark I Cavalier. So this one dates to 1979. It's in lovely condition. The original checker trim inside, that must be so hard to replicate. If you're going to restore a poor one of these now, I bet you'd really struggle to retrim one of these. The original carpets. Yeah, that really is lovely. Quite unusual having an aftermarket full-length sunroof, a Webasto type sunroof. Metro over here. What do we have here? This police motorcycle, a Triumph, the mighty Triumph, all the way from Meriden. I think there wasn't that where the Triumph factory was, down at Meriden. I like the little clock, the extra clock.
I've never seen a police bicycle.
Police bicycle? Alright, oh no. Yeah. What is this huge lorry with equally huge trailer in the livery of British Road Services? Because in the late 1940s BRS was founded, the road haulage industry here in the UK was nationalised, and that's when BRS was formed. Now what is this? Is this a Bristol or a Leyland? I'm going to go with one or the other. It's a Bristol. Yeah. Oh, How impressive is that? So this is a 1957 Bristol lorry and drawbar trailer, it says. Bristol built 517 of these 8-wheelers fitted with Leyland engines. After spending most of its working life in Swindon on long-distance haulage, this lorry was sold in '69 for fairground use around Gloucestershire and then later in London. And then it was restored along with this wonderful trailer, and notes the properly sheeted load as well. Again, heavy duty aluminium construction of this trailer. Harley's just admiring this matchless.
Just look at how nice is that going that way.
Oh yeah, the Speedo. Yeah, that's quite cool. Yeah, very nice. 650, is it? Yeah. It's
Twin.
the real Bobby Dazzler, that one. Now we don't want to miss anything out, so we've got the Mini here, Mini Cooper. This is one of the BMW Minis, the era when BMW was in charge, but these designs were actually initiated by Rover before BMW got involved. And there are photos around online of at least one prototype car that looked very similar to what ended up going into production, and then BMW ran with it once they took over. Let's carry on down here, see what other gems we can spot. Got a 5 Series BMW, one of the E39 era cars, this one from 1998, and this is the 540, so it's got the 4-litre V8 in it. These things bob along very well. Most of the ones you see I think are probably 6-cylinder cars, but this is the 540 with the V8 engine. Of course, at this point in time, the badging on the back of BMWs will tell you the size of the engine, so you've got 5 for 5 Series, 40 for 4-litre, and of course fuel injection, which everything had by this point in time. What's Harley directing me to? Nice picture of a Renault 16 there. What are you looking at? What are we looking at? Oh, okay. Ooh. Be still my beating heart. Mark 1 Austin, 2 Mark 1 Austin A40s. This one in Farina Grey, same colour as ours. Yeah, nice halt sign. Yeah, the gentleman proudly stood with his Mark 1 A40. These were introduced in 1958 and produced, I think, until about 61-ish, I think. Then the Mark 2 took over. Let's carry on our way around here. Don't want to miss anything out. And here we have a Triumph Renown in white. So this is late 40s, about 1950, possibly 51. So this was big brother to the Triumph Mayflower. Let's have a look at the information board just to establish the exact year. 1949, right. The Triumph Town and Country.
I haven't heard of this before.
Yeah, that was
just a Renown or something.
Yeah, Renown is like the generic name for this model of car, but they did have different names for them in the Triumph catalogues.
It's unusual.
That's very unusual,
I like
yeah.
lamps. The lamps are lovely.
Yeah, lovely big old Lucas lamps. Great to see that here. Very rare car now. The razor edge styling. Yeah. Here we've got a MGZT, a diesel-powered MGZT, the MG version of the Rover 75. So we've got some later modern classics here, rubbing shoulders with the established classics like the Triumph Renown there. I do like this mobile vehicle over here, the mobile food van, which is based on an Austin K2, I think. We'll go around the front and have a look at that in a minute, but let's have a look at this bike that Harley spotted. A lovely Triumph, yeah. So what's that say? 1954 Triumph Thunderbird twin. Yeah, so you've got the twin pipes there, twin. Yeah. Yeah.
Smart bike, isn't
Yeah, very nice indeed. We like old bikes. And look at those panniers. Can we get round? Let's see if we can get round to have a look. We can't get round there. Just want to have a look at those panniers, those streamlined body coloured panniers. They're nice. I've never seen those before. Harley's just exiting a 2003 Dennis Dart.
It's like the school bus.
It is, it's like your old school bus, isn't it? Yeah. You've done many journeys to school in something.
The seats are a bit jazzier than the one now.
Yeah, a bit whizzier than your old school bus, isn't it? Let's just have a final look around now. I'm pretty sure this old Leyland here, many years ago when I first got Big Dodge and it was in storage, I used to store it in a barn over near Poynton in Cheshire. And there were numerous old vehicles, lorries, cars, and quite a few double-decker buses, and I'm pretty certain, I'm almost certain that this was stored in the same barn, on the same farm as Big Dodge was, this in the late 1990s. I'm sure it was this one. This is the museum's flagship exhibit, one of just 2 survivors of 40 buses purchased by St Helens Corporation, 1950 to 1952, AEC chassis, Park Royal body.
I saw a really nice triangle in one of these.
Alright. Yeah. What are you looking at? What have you found? Oh, toys. Toys. Ooh, look at these sort of handmade one-off wooden toys in there. Got the Mammoth steam wagon there. Oops. But this, look at this triangle.
It's nice having the pedal car.
Yeah, look at that. Lines Brothers, of course, Triang. Those are 3 Lines Brothers, and if you put 3 lines together, you get a triangle, and that's where the Triang name came from. Frog did a lot of aircraft, but I have also got some toy racing cars at home made by Frog.
What are they?
But they're just little toy aeroplanes, aren't they? But yeah, we've got one of these trucks, but we haven't got the stickers on it. It's missing the stickers on ours. So I know someone is reproducing them, so we might have to get.
Well, but you have one. Right?
Yeah.
The same.
There's another one. Oh, there's another one here.
Yeah, that's quite nice. It would have had. This is actually more like ours, isn't it? Green.
Yeah,
But ours,
that's similar to
ours
ours.
doesn't have the yours. So I keep saying ours. Yours doesn't have the advertising, and
Yeah.
but yours doesn't have that triangle sticker.
No, we might have to get some of the reproduced stickers. We're back down near the main doors now, and we see this old Land Rover. What's this? A Series 3 Landy of the late 1970s. Scott Limited. I'm guessing this is probably a privately owned firefighting vehicle. 1978. So what's the story with this one? This unusual conversion was carried out by HCB Angus. The vehicle was delivered new to British Steel Cumbria in 1978 and went to a paper mills in Barrow in 1983. Got all the gear there, ladders, flags. Even got a chap permanently sat in there on guard duty. Yeah, fantastic. I do love this though. These unusual one-off vehicles with such a story to tell. That is really a treat. Have we seen these yet? What's this in the corner? Don't want to miss anything out, do we? Another guy. This is a Guy Arab. I can smell fresh paint. It looks like it's getting towards the end of what must have been a fairly extensive restoration.
There's about 3 other Guy Arabs.
Yeah, there are a few, aren't there? And what's this? Somewhat more modern. A Dennis Dart. Dennis Darts were introduced apparently in 1989. So I'm sure lots of you watching this video will be familiar with those. And maybe you remember these old guys when these were in service, who knows? But what a fantastic collection of vehicles. But I'm just going to amble up the centre because I want to make sure I don't miss anything out. This is impressive. Does it? Right.
Yeah. I love this.
Proper in the field repair work there, isn't it?
Sort of rivet it on.
Yeah, every ding and patch and repair. Well, presumably there must have been a need to produce electricity at some time. I guess if you were in the middle of nowhere, you'd fire this up and it'd power your lights and things inside.
Things are a long way apart in Australia, aren't they?
Yeah.
Look at tyres.
Proper chunky military tyres on it.
Things are this.
Yeah, I mean, I know I keep saying this, but if that could talk, what a incredible thing. Very distinctive coachwork on it as well, actually. Yeah, definitely well travelled. It's been to Portugal, France, Granada. Yeah, but, right, I was going to walk just take a different route, just so we don't miss anything out.
Have a look inside this one, the agency reliance.
Which one? I've not been in the yellow way. No, I've not been in here yet. So
Passengers safely into the more exotic parts of Europe.
wow. We've got some leaflets. History of Yellowway. There's a bit of work going on in the back. Everything relating to Yellowway services. Good morning, sir. I won't interrupt. Wow. Is this your collection of Yellowway memorabilia?
It is, yes.
Wow.
I didn't compile it. It was part of a gentleman called David Haddock.
All right.
He's passed away now.
All right.
And I acquired the coach from him
Yeah.
to preserve it
Yeah.
further.
I think I remember reading about this in one of the bus or coach magazines, like the classic ones, going back a bit. But
Going back.
I seem to remember someone collecting Yellowway, everything Yellowway.
Yes,
well,
well,
quick peer in here.
he did that in the early 2000s and bought this coach and converted it into what it
Like
is.
a display, so it's like a
Display.
mobile display cabinet, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
And
incredible.
it's travelled all over the place in the West Country and around the Northwest over the years.
Yeah.
And
Is Yellowway still around? Are they still in business? Or?
yes, well, there's a new company using the name Yellowway.
Right.
Has links with the original company.
Yeah.
The current MD's father worked for Yellowway, and he
Wow.
acquired the company name after it was left dormant in the late 80s.
Yeah, it's
when
incredible.
Yellowway closed down.
What a perfect way to display memorabilia relating to it. That's incredible, isn't it?
So it tells the story of coach travel generally developing over the last century. And
That's
up to date.
lovely. That I like that.
Yeah.
That's lovely, isn't it? No,
Yeah.
What a treat. Yeah. So do you take this out yourself?
Generally, it's been taken out quite a lot, but at the moment it needs some mechanical work
Yeah.
doing on it. And because from COVID onwards, we haven't had many
Right.
events to go to, so
No.
it hasn't picked up again.
No.
It did before that. It went
Yeah.
to the transport events around the Northwest.
No,
and
it's
Yorkshire.
incredible. No, it's incredible. Let's have a look at some of these old photographs through here. Wow. That is. Yes. All the old signs, look at these, the old posters. Aren't they beautiful?
Yeah, I love that. That's my favourite on there.
That one there, yes. Yeah, that
Imagine
is.
they're original as well, aren't they?
Yeah, what a great collection. Look at all those cars there. What can we see there? F-Type Victor, EO4A Anglia, little Wolseley next to it, Standard, Ford, looks like a 100E Prefect behind it.
Look at this. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
Got a little like delivery tricycle.
Oh, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, little delivery tricycle sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah. Isn't that incredible? What a great way to display a collection.
Have a lot of catching up to do if they were to cope with the new high-speed, longer distance journeys.
Which one? We've been. I don't think I went in there. Are we allowed in there? I guess it's not roped off, is it? So let's go and have a look. Yeah. quite low ceilings in this particular trolley bus. So like I was saying before, these didn't have their own petrol or diesel engines. It was all electric, based on the cabling overhead. So they were lovely and quiet and smooth to travel on, the trolley buses by all accounts. But obviously their routes, their range was restricted to the cable layouts on the streets of the town that they served in. Very narrow stairs. Let's go and have a look upstairs. Wow. Super original seat trim. If we go down the front, we should get a great view out of there. Yep, we're looking down on the Armstrong Siddeley and the Austin. There's that ex-Blackpool tram.
Get a good view of all the other buses up here, don't you?
Yeah, tickets please.
Nah. Like it, you can see all the
Yeah, you get a good view from up here, don't you? And this is the emergency exit. You whiz these doors open and that's your emergency route out, which must be quite exciting, sliding down there. Right. Onwards and upwards, or in this case, downwards. We will scoot round here. Nice and airy in here. Wasn't entirely sure what the lighting would be like. Some museums can be quite dark, especially for filming. So there's a trolley bus in service, and you can see the electrified network of cables that ran above the street to provide power via these arms up here to the electric motor inside the trolley bus itself. And we are back to that great little LD mobile shop. Winter 1946. Famous and very reliable Douglas DC-3 Dakota, owned by Railway Air Services, on hire to Scottish Airways, took off from Northolt Aerodrome, London, for Glasgow. Due to falling snow and ice forming on the wings, the aircraft failed to gain any height and struck a roof before crashing on top of two semi-detached houses. Extraordinarily, no one in the plane or in the houses was injured, and lucky there was no fire. The crew and the lone passenger simply climbing out and going downstairs. Yes, that's a very famous photograph, that is. Maybe they left the landing light on. Boom, boom. Right, let's carry on down here. Yeah. Many, many more cabinets of delights. And over in the far corner, there is actually a model railway setup, so we need to go and have a quick shufty at that while we are here. Here's that guy Arab again. Look at this incredible creation in here, made out of matchsticks. Stephenson's rocket. Wow, that really is incredible. Right, so I think it's time now to find my youthful assistant. I think we'll go and make some investigations and find out when that heritage bus run is taking place. I think it runs regularly throughout the day. It would be nice to have a ride on that, especially as the sun appears to have come out. It was tipping it down on the M6 as we were coming up here today. The weather does seem to have improved markedly since then. Right, where have you gone? Where have you disappeared to? Oh, there you are. Hello. So what's my youthful assistant spotted in these cabinets? Lots of old car components. Carburetors. I've got a Rover mascot there. Bonnet badge off a Standard 8. We've got one of those. A couple of Delage, the brass centre wheel hubcaps. Old temperature gauges. The old calometers and the motor meters that go straight onto the top of the radiator. We've got a Jaguar steering wheel there. So what would that be? It could be XK, it could be Mark 7, that kind of era, sort of early mid 1950s. Various badges. Ooh, I Spy books. We've got a few of those back at base. It could be XK 120 or yeah, it's that sort of era, 1950s. Yeah. There's an AA badge. That's the commercial vehicle owner's AA badge. And then there's the regular AA badge there. Civil Service, Motor Association, the Austin 7 Owners Club of London. That's a nice rare one. Oh.
That's so cool.
The oil lamp number plate. Cool.
I love that.
That is pretty tasty. Sims. That's a commercial vehicle headlamp, probably off a coach.
These are like traction engine lamps, these are...
Oh yeah. Lots of super early lamps, early horns. the old klaxon type horns and the old squeezy ones where you squeeze the rubber bulb there.
Even that bell, that's lovely.
And the bicycle bell, yeah.
Just really nice things that
Lots of lovely things tucked away everywhere. More lamp action in here. A settling bicycle lamp. Yeah, very nice. That's a nice rear lamp as well. Off a 30s car. Ooh. Tax disc, a bit of velology action. Velology is the collecting of old car tax discs, which I might do a separate video about one day. Ooh, lovely old clocks. I think these are the type where you rotate the rim of the clock, the outside rim, and that winds it up. If I remember correctly. Nearly dropped my camera. Old spark plug tins. Lodge, Champion, KLG. Those are the initials of the company founder, KLG, Kenelm Lee Guinness. One-time Brooklands racer. He was the gentleman behind KLG spark plugs. More lampage. Look at that one, that's a beauty. And an old BMC Austin road map underneath it. We like a bit of that. Carry on down here. What else have you? Ooh, old bicycle lamps. That is nice, isn't it? That is proper, isn't it? I'd look well on your 20s CWS.
I've already got one, which is basically like that actually.
Yeah, yours is like that, isn't it?
Lucas.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it?
I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah, but yeah,
quite
quite the array of bits and bobs. The Gordon three-wheeler. Funny little three-wheeler, a bit like a Bond. The engine hung out the side. And some models and toy cars over here in the final cabinets in this particular row. Right, I think we are probably at a stage where we have looked at most of the vehicles here inside the museum, and I've got a sneaking suspicion the bus service is operating, so let's go and amble in that general direction, see if we can have a ride on a heritage bus today here in St Helens. But before we do, let's just have a look at this super little Austin K2 vehicle here. Just sneak in here. We've got a mighty American La France there. Yeah, the sun is shining, but yeah, super. If we can just sneak in here, see if we can see the little Austin badge on the front. No, well, this is definitely Austin. I'm sure it's a K2. The K4 was a bit heavier than this, but this is a K2 based mobile shop. Looks like it's serving coffees and teas. I think this is the bus registered in 1965 that is doing the heritage bus rides today. Yeah, nice bus stop sign.
Yes, hopefully we'll get a free bus ride on this.
Yeah, let's see if we can hang around. It should be going fairly soon. Leyland diesel. So ED, I think that is Warrington area registration, I think. What a beauty that is. And I love the big doors on the building here. Let's see. Let's just cross the road and just have a proper look, just to give you an idea of the scale of this museum. And like I say, this building dates back to 1881. It was taken on, I think, by the museum in the early 1980s and underwent significant refurbishment. But the bones of the building go right back to the late 19th century. Which is pretty cool. Just have to watch out for a few cars driving past, but yeah, hopefully we'll get to have a ride on that super old Leyland double-decker. Here we are on board the Leyland. Well, that was great, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That was fantastic. A lovely rumble of the Leyland diesel. What a treat, a free bus ride around St Helens. Absolutely great. The sound of the gears and that Leyland diesel engine, just fantastic. So how do you get out of that emergency door? Is there a pull down ladder perhaps? Well, I think that wonderful ride out on that Leyland bus pretty much winds up and concludes our visit here today to the Northwest Museum of Road Transport here in St Helens. This is located in the northwest, just off the A580 and the M6 motorway, so nice and easy to get to. And if you find yourself in the area, I highly recommend you pop in. Price is at the time of recording just £6 per adult, so well, what a treat. And if you time it right, even a free bus ride, what more could you ask for? So thank you so much for watching this video. I think we've both really enjoyed our visit here today. Thanks to everyone here for allowing us to come round and have a mooch around and film whatever we want. That was really appreciated. Let us know in the comments what you think of this particular museum. How fantastic is this? It's really important to support all these old museums, because without volunteers and without people coming through the door, they simply cannot operate. I'm sure this museum, like all the museums featured, would welcome fresh volunteers, so if you think you can help in any way, please get in touch with them, because volunteers are the lifeblood of museums such as this. So thank you so much for watching. Please give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, leave a comment. Maybe if you've got any suggestions for other places we should be going to do videos at, then please let me know as well. So there we go. Thank you very much, and there'll be loads more videos along very, very soon. So bye for now. Let's get back home now.